Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be taking a bit of a different approach and discuss the evolution of Chinese architecture. This video will run through a story spanning from early ancient China to modern day. Chinese architecture has remained to be a very important way of expressing cultural and political beliefs. Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism heavily influenced the construction process of famous structures known today. For countless dynasties, Chinese architecture remained very traditional, one could say, with respect to the extreme geometry normally identified in such structures. However, Chinese architecture has changed over the course of the last few decades with respect to the aforementioned dynasty, the Han. In ancient Chinese architecture, circa the Han Dynasty, symmetry was a founding principle in the layout of structures as it presented the harmony in Chinese culture. For example, in the case of a palace, the main building would be in the center, generating a reference point for an access point to build off of, and then the wings, which casually made up the housing for people, were evenly built off each side. In a courtyard, you have the same on one side as you do the other. Should you be facing the center structure? However, as you move forward or backwards, the image changes. Wood was a staple in the construction materials. Due to its availability and ease to work with, columns, beams, and joints were made of this material. To fasten them, the method involving tenons and mortises were used. This allowed for a very acceptable amount of flexibility. A very interesting point to note would be that the walls within these structures were only used as room separations and not structural support. This is a very notable trait in Chinese architecture, hence the saying Chinese houses will stand when the walls collapse. As time went on, Chinese architecture advanced. The use of bricks became more popular as the methods for producing them became more efficient, circa the Sui and Tang dynasties. Succeeding that, the use of wood along with previously mentioned methods carried over into the Ming and Qing dynasties in the construction of the Forbidden City. The city was constructed on a central north-south axis. In order to avoid corrosion, bases were made of stone. In this case, the stone for the Forbidden City was dragged over 40 miles in wet ice. Upon its completion, it became home to many emperors thereafter. Leaping forward into the late 1900s, architecture took a step in a completely different direction. With the rising awareness of cost efficiency and its effect on the planet, architecture in China had to find a way to remain obscure, but be cost effective and remain green, so to speak. In Shenzhen, a great change had to be made as non-cultural land became the majority percentage of the land. This occurred because of the rapidly expanding population. By the year 2000, residential land took up roughly 70% of Shenzhen. With such a vast population, living and labor conditions declined rapidly. Construction concepts followed that of IKEA-type prefabricated structures, had to become a primary method of building due to its quick, effective, low cost, and modern design in order to prevent further misery of the people. From 1980 to present, Shenzhen went from a fisherman-type city to blossoming development. From its conception, Chinese architecture has been a very expressive way of describing cultural, political, and economic standpoints from the Han Dynasty to modern times.